Hello everyone. Fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are mentioned in every democratic country. It is also mentioned in our constitution in part 3, article 12 to 35. Why it is called the fundamental rights? Fundamental means that the basic and rights that is sanctioned by the society and recognized, sanctioned by the law and recognized by the society. So these are reasonable. An individual can claim for that. They can move for the court for their rights. These are the fundamental rights. As a human beings, we require some rights for our all-round development. That's why our constitution also granted some fundamental rights. Initially, we have 7 fundamental rights, but right to property in 44th Amendment 1978, it was converted into the legal rights in 300A. Now we have only 6 fundamental rights. One is the right to equality, Article 14 to 18, right to freedom, Article 19 to 22, right against exploitation, Article 23 and 24, and right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28. And next is the constitutional remedy, that is the soul of the constitution. Told the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was the architecture of our constitution. So the courts, that is the Supreme Court and the High Court, can issue the writs for the protection of the rights of the individuals. So there are some features of the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are available only for the citizens and some are available to all the persons. Some fundamental rights are not provided to the foreigners, like Article 15, 19, 29 and 30. If anyone violated the fundamental rights, anyone can move to the courts, that is the Supreme Court and the High Courts. And fundamental rights also can be suspended during the national emergency. We can rectify some fundamental rights through the amendments. We can add some from the directive principle of state policy in the fundamental rights, because fundamental rights are justiciable and it enforced by the law. So we cannot provide all the things which are not available. The resources are not available for the states. When the resources are available for the state, we can provide and mention in our fundamental rights, like right to education, right to information act. We converted right to property as a legal rights. Now we included the right to privacy also. So we can add, we can remove some fundamental rights through the amendments. First fundamental rights, that is the right to equality, that is mentioned in Article 14 to 18. Article 14 says that equality before law and equal protection of laws. Equal protection of laws means that law cannot discriminate, and equality before law means everyone is treated equally by the law. It means the equal justice. There is no discrimination by the courts. But there are some exceptions. Right to equality, that is mentioned in Article 31, economic equality. Second, no criminal proceeding against the governor and the president. Freedom of speech of MPs in the parliament, it is mentioned in the Article 105. And Article 194 specifies that the powers and privileges of the members of the House of the Legislature. And when we describe the Article 15 Clause 3 specifies that the special provision for the women and the children. And Article 15 Clause 4 specifies that the special provision for educationally backward class. And Article 15 Clause 5 They provide the concept of the reservation. Article 16 describes that equality of opportunity in a public employment for every citizen. But here is some exception. Government can provide the reservation for the backward classes. Like Mandal Commission report, where 27% reservations are providing for all the OBC. Here, those who they are excluded on the basis of the creamy layer. So government has set up Ram Nandan Committee in year 1993 to identify OBC who are based on creamy layer. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Now, if you practice, it is crime. Article 18 specifies that abolition of the titles like Rai Bahadur, Maharaja, and the Maharaja Diwan Rai, but it is exemption from the military and the educational areas like a Bharat Ratan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. Article 18 clause 2 also prohibited from accepting any titles from the foreign states. So I hope you understood the concept of fundamental rights, how many fundamental rights are mentioned in our constitutions, and right to equality from Article 14 to 18.